Hi. Oh my gosh, it feels like it's been a hot minute since I've been on here. We missed last week, but we're still going strong this week. Uh, Welcome back to Allison Unfiltered. And this is going to be a hard conversation today. Because I know that I'm guilty of it, and I know that other people are guilty of it, and I know that it's something that we all struggle with in life. But I want to tell a little story today about jealousy. And maybe it's just because, like, I talked about something I went through a couple of weeks ago that was super hard. And it's still just wearing on that last nerve, right? Because I'm that person that, um, I'm that person that if there's a room full of 200 people, I'm worried about the one that's there that I have upset or doesn't like me or whatever for that reason, because I'm such a people pleaser. Um, And so I talked about that a little bit a couple of weeks ago with what something that happened, but it's just wearing on my last nerve still. So I feel like I need to get the whole story out there and give it this, 10 minutes of fame or whatever, and then just be done with it and squash it because I don't think that people understand like the gravity of what happened. Sorry. And I just think that I think people need to know. And I have really battled with myself and conversations with God about having this conversation and how I want to have this conversation. So I don't want this conversation, like, I'm going to tell a story of something that happened to me. And my hope is that you take this story and you use it for something in the future. Maybe you can share it with someone else. Maybe someone else is going through the same thing and you can share some advice with them. That, I think that's my hope. I'm not here to, I've said this a long time ago, I'm not here to tear down people. I'm not a mean girl, but then there's a part of me that feels like I'm being a mean girl by telling this story. So let's back up. And this has to do with the business that I'm in and the team that I have. And I'm not going to name names, but there was this girl on my team, and I don't know why I rubbed her the wrong way in the very beginning, but I did. Like, terribly wrong. And it's probably because I'm bossy. I'm straightforward. I don't sugarcoat anything. Like, y'all, they were writing on my report card when I was in kindergarten that I was bossy. And that's why I do so well at this business because, I mean, I can tell people what they need to do, right? And the thing is, I've done it well, so I should be able to be the one of the ones that tells you what to do and how to do it. And anyway, I had I'm not the person now that I was 6 years ago when I started this. And I've done a lot of growth and a lot of growing and a lot of learning and a lot of mistakes. Oh my God, so many mistakes, right? But but even then I was growing, right? Our business was growing. I was losing weight. I was being successful at all the things. And so there was this girl on the team that just, I rubbed her the wrong way. And and I figured out later in life that it wasn't me, it was her, right? It's just jealousy. And jealousy is ugly and nasty. And I know that this girl struggled. She struggled a lot to lose weight, and she struggled with drinking, which is a huge struggle for so many women out there. Like, you guys, like, if you're using alcohol to make yourself feel better, you're never going to be able to lose weight or get healthy or any of those things, right? I mean, a bottle of wine a night ain't going to cut it. And I know people that drink more than that. I'm not judging, but I'm just saying, like, if you want better for yourself, that's something you should probably quit doing. So, when, and also want to preface this that my mother was an alcoholic. So there were definite triggers from this person for me that automatically put me on the defense. So I'm not going to say that I handled it well. in the beginning because I probably didn't. I think I did the best I could with the knowledge that I had. But I was still growing as a leader, and I don't know, it was really crazy. So there was already that I had rubbed her the wrong way, and I still don't know what I did to do that. But I remember several times that I would get messages from her late at night, and they would be ugly, and they wouldn't make a lot of sense, and they would ramble. And I figured out what was happening is she would get drunk and then she would start drunk texting me, right? Like, drunk dialing, right? People might, oh my God, my mom used to do that with people all the time. She would call people, tell them what she really thought about them while she had liquid courage. And that's what this girl was doing to me. Um, and it would come out of nowhere for no reason, just out of whatever anger had built in her. Um, and it kept us, at a rift. And there was one point where, she earned a new rank, and it was impressive, right? I mean, she had a great team going. She was building, she was making money. I mean, she was probably making, in the height of everything, she was probably making $4,000 a month, which is what I was making when I walked away from my career to do this full time, right? So significant person on my team. And I was super proud of her and always tried to support. And so when she hit this highest rank that she did, I actually took the time to drive out to where she was. It was like the end of June that year, and I drove out to where she was working, and took her like a swag prize to congratulate her for her accomplishment. That's just the kind of the stuff that we did. That's what my coaches did for me too. And and I think surface level we tried to get along. And sometimes people just don't mesh, right? Sometimes people just don't get along. And so there were things that happened like she would end up and it kind of got a little creepy there for a minute because there were times where she would walk our neighborhood because she lived close by, so she would walk our neighborhood, which didn't make any sense to me why she would be walking past our house on a regular basis. But I mean, whatever, it was just kind of it just gave you the heebie jeebies, like stalker vibes, right? And we let it go and we let it go, and then there was some time where it got really ugly, and I cut it off. And I was just like, Danny was, I mean, I would walk around the block, not at the same time she would, but I would walk around the block just in tears, just crying, just Christian music, listening to it, crying my heart out, asking God, why this person has chosen me to be so hateful to, because I really hadn't done anything but try to be nice. But it all boiled down to she was jealous. She was jealous um, she was jealous of my weight loss because she struggled with hers. She was jealous of my life. She was single, and I have an incredible husband, and she was very jealous of that. And she was jealous of my success in our business. And and it got to the point where she wasn't allowed in our home. My husband's job is to protect me. So she wasn't allowed in our home. She wasn't allowed to come to functions or anything like that. And one of the things she always made sure she did was to hug my husband. And if my husband doesn't like you, he definitely doesn't want to hug you. Um, but I don't know. I feel like maybe she was just trying to cop a feel. I don't know. But we had one event one time, and we were all together, and we all had name tags and stuff, just being silly. And Danny actually had a name tag that said, uh, please no hugs. Like we literally, because he was so angry with this person at this time that he did not want her anywhere near him or me. And so her and I, we had our niceties, like we were polite to each other, but that was it. That was the extent of it. And like when we were in person. And he literally put a name tag on for no hugs for this person to be sure that this person did not touch him or hug him. And the thing is, it was already a conversation. It had already been a conversation with her coach, asking her coach to ask her to please lay off her hands on my husband. And I'm not a jealous person by any means. I don't care. But Danny's weird about that stuff. So he's not going to hug you unless he actually like cares about you and likes you and wants you in his personal space. So that's just how it is. And then, some time passed and things calmed down, things settled down, and her and I had a conversation and we just kind of agreed to put things in the past. And we did for the most part. I did. I really thought that we did. Um, she's had some tragic things, and I'm not going to go into that because that's not my story to tell. But and I'm telling this from the perspective of how it happened to me. I don't necessarily know what happened to her other than she was just angry and she didn't like me, I guess, being bossy. Um, oh, I need to back it up. There was a point in time, and this was the reason that my husband was so upset, is because she had reached out to me, like drunk messaging me, and I finally had just had enough of it. And I was like, you know what, girl, why don't you go drink another bottle of wine and leave me the hell alone? Well, when I sent that to her, that's probably not what you should send to somebody who's been drinking. But I did because I was just done with it. I wasn't, at that point, I was okay with being mean about it because I was done. And so she had reached out to the company and told them what I said. And I mean, she just she did everything she could to try to get me in trouble. She poisoned her entire downline to me. So, all of them were, even when I would reach out and offer them help or something, they would all just, not all of them, but most of them, especially one in particular who claims to be such a Christian woman, but so hateful. Uh, and those are the ones you got to watch out for, right? The ones who claim to be perfect and all that. Yeah, you got to watch out for those people because nobody's perfect, right? And the ones who claim to be like that, they're just hiding something. But anyway, there was just one that was just particularly ugly to me, and it sucked because there were people on her team that I cared about, and but I couldn't really reach out to them because then it would cause a big stink and I didn't want to put them in the middle of stuff. So I just left it alone. And that team pretty much died off. And it has over the years. And this girl has not been active in her business at all. And like I said, she had a tragedy that hit. And when that tragedy happened, I sent her flowers. I reached out to her, um, and about a year or so previous to that, she was welcome back in our home and we were back to doing things together as a team um and it was nice. And I thought that everything was okay. We even had a moment where we sat here after a meeting one time and hashed a lot of it out in front of some of the rest of our team because I think we felt like we were in a safe place. And I said what I needed to say. She said what she needed to say. And we just kind of moved on from everything. And I really thought that everything was okay. And I really didn't think anything else of it. I didn't have any ill feelings of it, nothing. Um, and thought everything was okay. And of course, reached out to her when something terrible happened, and then she had healed from that. And then I found out she was doing really well with her weight loss, and I reached out and congratulated her for that. And I gave her time, right, to not when that tragedy struck her. I mean, I get it. You need to take some time to yourself, right? And that's the beauty of this business is you can, and it still pays you residual income. But um, I wanted to know what her plan was, right? I wanted to know, like, are you still doing this? Do you want to quit? Do you just want to be a customer? Like, tell me what's going on, you know? And so we talked, and that was about it. I'm sure y'all are bored to death of this. But come to find out, like even when my grandmother passed, like this girl has something that I love that she makes, and I've learned how to make it since, but she still makes it better. And she had brought me something, which is like what she makes, her stuff that I love. And she had brought it to me after my grandmother died. And it was such a sweet gesture, you know. And then some good things happened in her life, and I congratulated her. So that's what I'm saying. I thought we were on the right track, and I thought everything was in the past. And I was talking to my upline one day, and I was just like, maybe reach out to her and just see, where she's at, what's happening, like, what are we doing? Do I need to help her people? Because I know she's not doing that anymore, and I don't want these people falling to the wayside, but I don't want to step on any toes and whatnot. Um, all this is just spinning in my head because it all sounds so trite and trivial, and it really, really was. And once again, I'm still at a loss of why this person has so much hate towards me. Because I found out after I had I had been in one of our chats, and I was having a healthy debate about semaglutide, and with an upline, someone else in that chat, and she chimed in, and she hadn't chimed in that chat in a really long time, and it was ugly, and it was a direct hit for what I was talking about and what I'd been talking about on my podcast. I'm very much against semaglutide. I understand that she's lost a lot of weight. I understand that she's using semaglutide. I understand that she doesn't like when I talk bad about it because it offends her or whatever. And so she goes running her mouth to other people on my team that are good friends of mine. Like, do you not think these people are going to tell me what you're saying? Right? I mean, and I was floored first that she would come at me like that, right? When I hadn't said anything ugly to her in years and been nothing but supportive and kind. Um, and she was even told, like, oh my God, get your name out of her mouth. Like, if you don't like what she's saying, stop following her, stop talking about her, stop following her Facebook, stop following her Instagram and her podcast and all the things. And I guess it's like a train wreck sometimes, you can't peel your eyes off of it. That jealousy. And they say keep your friends close and your enemies closer. I mean, maybe I'm just so much of an enemy to her that she had to know everything that I was doing. She wasn't working her business yet. She was in our chats, and she was just stalking and lurking to see what was going on. I feel like she was like trying to watch every move that I made. I don't know. It's just weird. And maybe I've turned it into too much just because it's been so much over the last few years. But I mean, what the hell would you do? Because in any other situation, I would cut that person out of my life. But that's hard to do when they're on your team, right? And you're supposed to be the bigger person. And that's what I did for so long. Like, there was so much shit that wasn't worked out that I just stuffed it down. right? I stuffed it down, I stuffed it down, I stuffed it down, and I just took it and I took it and I took it. And I kept being told by my upline, just be the bigger person, be the bigger person, just walk away from it, just don't engage in it, all those things. And I did that. And that was actually probably one of the worst things I could have done for myself. Because when she came back at me in this chat, like it all came back and it all came back with a vengeance. And I was like, I don't even know why you're even in here. What are you even doing here? Why you even said anything? You hadn't shown up in 8 months. You know what I'm saying? And I just, and I, after I said what I said, I mean, people already saw it. You can't take it back. And I felt so ashamed of myself. Like I hit my knees in my closet, actually asking God for forgiveness because that's not who I want to be. That's not the type of person I want to be. But I have a really, really long fuse, but when I'm done, I'm effing done. Right. And so that's the only way I knew to stop all of it was to just shut it down and be mean and be ugly and just shut it down. Right. So I didn't have to deal with it. I went in, I blocked her from all my social media. I blocked her from all of my team stuff, everything. And the first thing that she did was run to everybody and say that I was being mean to her again. I'm like, OMG, are you kidding me? Like, are you really serious right now? Uh, and it caused a rift, it caused the loss of a friendship because my upline just took her in when she already had a place to be, just because she went running like a victim. And victimhood irritates the dog shit out of me, if y'all haven't figured that out yet. I've had a lot of bad shit happen to me, but I am damn sure not ever the effing victim. Anyway, like, this girl has caused a whole lot of problems. And I don't know if she realizes it, or I don't know if she's proud of it or what. Um, and I honestly don't think that's who she is either. But um, I think all in all, she's actually a really good person and she has a really big heart. Um, but I think the jealousy of everything just got the best of her and she didn't know how to turn it off. And as women, this jealousy is stupid, right? Because all it does is make bad things happen. So how do we, as women, how do we lift each other up? Instead of being jealous of each other, how do we cheer each other on when something's going on for somebody? I mean, maybe it is something you're jealous of, but who cares? Cheer them on anyway, right? I mean, I stuffed so many of those feelings down for so long that when it all exploded, I was so grateful that I've been in therapy with Janelle for, oh my gosh, she's Awakenings Life Coaching. If you ever want to check her out, she's freaking amazing. She's my fairy godmother. Um, and I don't know how I would have gotten through this without her, and her advice. She's just a very yin to my yang, I guess. I'm super hyper and she's super calm, and she has a way of just like calming me down. I know I'm squirreling right now, but I'm just telling you like I'm all up in my feels. And my heart is racing telling this because I don't want it to come across as, oh, I'm just tattling on somebody, but like this is something serious that's happened. And it happens in these businesses, in these direct sales businesses, when you have a lot of women working together. Um, Sometimes there's jealousy in those lines, and sometimes things happen between people in those lines. I mean, I've talked about, what happened in Florida years ago, and fortunately we've been able to mend that a little bit. um but it just takes time. Like, it takes so much time to heal those wounds, but I can tell you that I will never ever ever trust that person again that did all this and acted like this. um I'll never trust her. She'll never be allowed in our home. Unfortunately, my children have to deal with her in the public because some of them work in retail situations. And I've just asked them to, just be polite. That's all. Because, my kids want to protect me too. And um, I just, I don't understand it. I don't understand why this person has it out for me, why this person hates me so much, unless the things that I say uh, strike a chord, right? If it offends you, it probably applies to you. And maybe she's one of those people that just has a really hard time telling herself the truth. I don't know. But I hope that with me blocking her from everything in my life, uh, that I don't really have to be around her. I mean, I still see her in some stuff she still shows up in, and I think she does it just to irritate me because she doesn't work her business or do anything in her business. She just wants to see what the hell's going on, right? She's just nosy. And I think one of the things that she was most jealous about um, was she couldn't be consistent. That was one of the hardest things for her in this business and in her journey. She couldn't be consistent. And I am very consistent and I'm very dedicated, and I can understand how people can be jealous of that aspect of me. But it's who I am, and I'm not going to change who I am because it makes someone else uncomfortable. Like if you have to dim your flame to make other people comfortable around you, screw that. Like you're with the wrong people. That's what I was talking to Janelle about the other day. I was like, I want to be around winners. I want to be around people who want to win at life, who want better for themselves at life, who aren't content with just staying where they are. And I want more. So I want to be around those people that want more. Don't you? Don't you want more? If if there has ever been a time that I've been jealous of someone, it's it's like daddy issues, right? So like you see someone post that, oh, my dad's the greatest dad in the whole world. I don't know where I'd be without him. Happy birthday, daddy. I love you so much, blah blah blah, all that stuff. That's the shit that twists my heart into. Because I didn't have that. There's pictures of them sitting in their dad's lap when they were little and time together when they were little and growing up with their dad. And I don't have that. So that's where I get jealous of people, but I've never been ugly to someone because of it. You know what I do? I just say happy birthday to your dad and I move on, you know? And that's the right thing to do, even if it hurts. So that's what I guess that's the whole point is the right thing to do is to put jealousy aside and cheer people on. Whether you're there or not, whether you are a part of it or not, you need to be cheering people on. Women, small businesses, like, why is that? Why is that you like your friend will post something that what she's doing, like, oh, I'm not talking to her now. What the freak? Like, why would you do that to your friend? Why would you go, if your friend sells skincare, why wouldn't you buy it from your friend instead of going to Walmart and having Sam Walmart make all the damn money from it? I mean, we've got to get our priorities straight. Quit being jealous of people and what people are doing. Support what they're doing. Love on people. Care about people. Cheer people on. I send messages to people all the time. Like if I see someone post a picture and I'm like stunned, I'm like, oh my gosh, this girl's beautiful. I am going to send her a message and say, you know what? I hope this doesn't come across weird, but I just want to tell you that I think you are absolutely beautiful. Have a great day. Do you know what the world would be like if there was more of that? So I want you to think about it and I challenge you. I challenge you to send 5 messages to somebody this next week, complimenting them, cheering them on. You have no idea what that will do to someone because I know what it does for me and I know what it would do for you. So why wouldn't you do that for other people? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, right? That's what we all try to live for or should. I'm not perfect. I'm not always good at it, but I really, really do try. So take that jealousy and throw it in the trash because all it does is cause problems and anger and resentment. And it's not fun. It's not fun on either side of it. It's not fun to be on the receiving side of it, and it's not fun to be the giver of it because it's turmoil. And no one wants to live in turmoil. I don't. So I would love to hear any stories like in the comments of not bashing people, right? But I mean, give me some stories. Tell me some stuff that's happened for you and how you've overcome the jealousy. Leave the advice for other people. Um, how I've overcome it is I've worked it out and I've worked through my shit with a therapist. I think we all need therapy, 100%. But I think this world would be so much better if we would just love each other instead of being hateful and being jealous. So that's it. Be kind. Go be kind. Go send 5 kind messages to someone this week. Just out of the kindness of your heart. That's all I got. Hope it was worth it. Hope you got something from it. Hope it made you think about moving forward in your future. Peace out, homies. See y'all later. Bye.